Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Action packed day, another um, time to rejoice. Sports, and we've seen a little bit of NFL news today, and we also got to see some NBA action. Unbelievable shot by Tyrese Halliburton with Reggie Miller present in the building in Indianapolis today versus the rival Milwaukee Bucks. Um, some big time free agency decisions were made. C.J. Gardner was sent to the Texans. We got to see DeAndre Hopkins going to the Ravens. Daniel Jones, formerly of the New York Giants, going to the Indianapolis Colts. There were some notable things happening out there today. Joey Bosa goes to the Buffalo Bills. But the team that caught my eye, and as a content creator in sports, one of my initial missions when I started was to be very conscious about how I come across, and I make sure that I have to pick and choose how and when I talk about the Dallas Cowboys or the Los Angeles Lakers, because I take pride in being genuine and pure, and at any time I have to bring them up, it needs to be for a good cause, because I know there's enough people already spamming those headlines. And so for me, um, today was the day for the Dallas Cowboys to finally be put on the docket for me, because I was really irritated after I read the news about them resetting the market for. It may be a qualified, very good kick returner, but still, enough is enough. One thing I don't like in life is people who try to nickel and dime or half-ass you, and it's clearly what I feel like is going on in Dallas. They're not committed to anything. They're definitely not committed to winning a championship, but they're also not trying to just blatantly tank. And for me, an honorable rebuild reset is perfectly long overdue here. And instead, they're just kind of, just whimpering around with these like half moves. Like, they go sign Javante Williams. You're not going to re up Dodo? Are you crazy? You showed enough spark on the screen. He's still affordable at this rate, and you're gonna pass on him and let him go touch the waters, and try to build around Javante, who's lost a full yard per carry almost since the season-ending injury to his knee. I think it was an ACL tear or something. It's little stuff like that that really starts to twist my gears. And there's a gentleman on Twitter X by the name of Brady Clark, and he wrote an interesting piece, and I want to discuss this. First off, allow me to read this off to you. Forgive me if it's a little bit lengthy and long-winded. If the Cowboys extend Micah Parsons by tomorrow, they'd gain about $70 million in cap space for this season. Unless you're a Cowboys fan, you might fully grasp what's happening right now. Dallas restructured both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contracts, freeing up $56 million to spend this offseason, money that will count against the cap over the next 4 seasons. So refi basically going on here, refinancing. The whole point of restructuring is to use the cap space you've created. Otherwise, it's completely wasted. If you don't spend it and all you've done is push that money into the future where it still has to be paid. So what does Dallas do? They clear space, sign absolutely nobody, and cripple their future. They're about to enter week one with 50 million unspent, and at this point, it feels like Jerry Jones is holding something against the fans and actively trying to lose. Now, uh, what an excellent, astute observation by Brady Clark, uh, and way to keep it clean while still being an avid fan or a zealous advocate of the Dallas Cowboys FC. The light bulb clicked because earlier I had made a post upon seeing that they had reset the market for a kick returner, when it's like clearly you're not a special teams player away from getting back into contention. And with CeeDee Lamb over there, one of the names mentioned, aforementioned names that got pushed into next year's season rollover deals. Um, you need a complimentary guy opposite of him. I was hoping to see Devontae Adams, someone of that magnitude. Granted, Cooper Kupp is still there, but I really want to see Cooper end up with the with the Los Angeles Chargers. Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson, who I've seen is doing big time reps with a reputable coach on route running and the art of route running. I think he needs work on his hands, not route running, but everything is, a means to an end, right? So I'm watching this unfold, and I'm like, they always sign some old wide out. Amari Cooper's still there, by the way, FYI. And then they did Gilmore last year. They always do some last second old elder statesman at DB who could get dust. Surprised it wasn't Darius Slay or something, you know. But this is a team that it's like, look, free agency is already starting to cool off, and it's like, what are you doing? And then it just dawned on me, perhaps they're in on this Dallas Mavericks casino thing, because now you've handcuffed your future for no apparent reason. And I don't want to be one of those conspiracy guys or the type that blow off the top. I don't like to be those type of people. I tend to stay away from that. On that kind of stuff, that's high-ranking, powerful business acumen that we're talking about here, and to put things on people's names without any definitive proof is very wrong. But it's like, well, if the Mavericks have already done it, they're practically waving the flag. Anthony Davis is going to punt on this playoff run, even though they're still, I think, have life in contention. I think the Pelicans are even still in it, though that's not saying much. The Pelicans have been losing like crazy. They kept their hopes alive beating the Clippers tonight. And don't get me wrong, the Pelicans would be in first place right now if they were fully healthy. That's my little conspiracy theory. If it wasn't for the devastating season-ending injuries to Herb Jones and DeJounte Murray, get well, gentlemen. But I'm watching this Cowboys team, and I'm like, what else is it stopping you from taking the Seattle Seahawks approach, moving off Dak like Seattle moved off Geno, and then moving off CeeDee Lamb the way, because like I said, CeeDee is the worst type. I mean it with the utmost respect. That's not a WR1, okay? And you got him WR1 because you're game planning him deliberately to get numbers, fantasy and statistic wise. But from the naked eye, I can see that that's not the guy who you gotta count on to be your WR1. And Dak is not the kind of guy. He's another one of those guys where he needs everything to be right. The matchup has to be favorable, the personnel, everything. And you're wasting your time if you're Dallas. You got too many needs at one time. You lost the key lineman who started in place of your first round pick, who was, I think was a rookie. I can't remember where he went, but they lost a key lineman. It's just like, what are you guys doing, man? Move off these guys. Pittsburgh has a fresh second and third from, no, Seattle. Seattle has a second and third. Seattle has a third. I fucked that up. Seattle had a third. But I don't understand why a team like I don't understand why a team like Seattle, why a team like Pittsburgh, they don't get him off to Pittsburgh. They're talking about Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, and I think it's going to be Russell Wilson in the end, because that's what DK Metcalf signals. They think they can make him happy. And Colin brought up a very good point. I don't understand why Pittsburgh's running into free agency to go get wide receivers when they've been known to be a factory throughout the year. That's one area they've excelled in. They've supplied the league with wide receivers, not to mention, right? Them and the Giants. But, if you're the Cowboys, this is the opportune time. I could probably get a king's ransom off of even a better deal than DK. I mean, yeah, off of CeeDee Lamb, I could get a great deal off of Dak, still like a second and third for this year or next year. Maybe get Shador, shelf him for a season, get Cooper Rush to run the season to get you through the year, and call it, and even Trey Lance on a re-up, or anybody for that matter. A lot of these quarterbacks would love to audition for the Cowboys for 1 year and go do something else elsewhere. You could even get a Jameis Winston on the Dallas Cowboys for a season. throwing a bunch of touchdowns, throwing a bunch of picks. Who cares? He's going to be box office. He did a wonderful job covering I think it was the Pro Bowl in New Orleans. So I just, my theory is they're punting and they're doing all this because of the casino deal. Because there's no way they're this and that. Who goes out and tries to reset the market for special teams when you need every penny? I don't care how much money you got. You need every penny to land a star pass rush. You need every penny to get a corner. You need every penny to get you another receiver on the opposite, so Dak can be the best. Dak is the eighth most. CeeDee Lamb is the eighth most expensive contract in the NFL. That's non-QB. Dak is like top 10 also in contracts in the league overall. I'm just looking like, what are y'all doing over there? And you had to get rid of the coach because there's no way you could sell it another year. But you held him back, so Chicago can't get him an interview with him, even though they went Ben Johnson. So I don't think they stopped anything, but it was still just kind of weird. That was in the headline. Oh, the Jerry refuses to allow head coach to go do an interview. But just what a train wreck the Dallas Cowboys are right now. And if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm pissed off because I'm like, why would I do that? Why? Why would I want it? Why are we tiptoeing around stuff and doing 50% right now? It's crazy. I feel bad for Dallas, man. I really do. I really feel bad for the Dallas fan base because this is just, they're in no man's land. And it's like, if any team is eligible for a rebuild, and Cowboy fans will jump behind it because they're like, hey, we can get excited about trying to find our guys for the next 10 years. But instead, you're holding on to Dak, you're holding on to CD, and you're not any steps closer. You're nowhere. You're middle of the pack at best. You're fighting for mediocrity. Even the Texans are still making moves. They got Christian Kirk. He's a Texas Tech alum, so that's going to be a great feel-good story. You already got the people behind you. They've already replaced Stephon Diggs coming off that ACL tear. Then you go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He's going to be good for a few one-liners on a week-to-week basis. And here you are as the Cowboys, no swag, deflated. Nobody knows which direction you're going. We don't know what the rhyme for reason is in draft picking. Methodology. I don't feel very confident in their ability to pick. This is a crazy draft where nobody set in stone. Nobody can say for sure they know where anyone's going. But it would be cool for them to, if you're the Cowboys, if this was an ample opportunity, sell off, move up, get Shador, stash him, and just chill for a year. You could be it, and you guys are not doing it, and it's just crazy. All right, I hope I was informative, Utopians. I'll try to do better next time. Global out.